Yeah, Ruthless is back.
We breaking it down and we stated as fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, fam? It's your man VACAY-J back with another video. And yes, this is episode 2, season 6 recap. This boy Obadiah has lost his mind. Before we get started, make sure you check out my episode 1 of season 6 and get ready for the Ruthless round table as we discuss episode 1 and 2. So let's get started. Where did we leave off? We left off where the highest was talking to the 4, right? Now he's talking to Andrew, and Andrew seems to be very upset, and he's letting him know, look, I don't know whether you're coming and going. You are so confusing. You go back and forth. You know what? You play with me. You play with them. He said, you know what? I'm going to play, and then I'm going to get tired of playing. And the next thing you know, I'm just going to eat you up. And I'm like, pause, bro. Pause. Pause on that. Right, so now he wants to go and talk to Zane, and Zane is afraid. He's like, yeah, you look so innocent, but I know you, I know your blood, I know you thirst for blood, and you're just like me. Say it, come on, say it. Say you're just like us. And she's like, no. And, you know, Ruthless like, Zane. He's like, yes, Zane. And I wanted him to say, insane Zane, but he didn't. And Ruthless trying to stop him. Obadiah stops Ruth and then says, you've done enough, and hits her in the lips with his strap. Man, this man has lost his mind. Back to where we are. We got all the evidence from all the years of them trying to investigate the Raku campus. And here we are, family. We are back with your girl, Desiree, and she's talking to Cal. And, you know, she's like, look, I got a plan. You know, my plan is to starve them out, which was my original plan, and just to cut off everything. He's like, yeah, you're going to cause chaos and mayhem and all this and that. He's like, listen, you're a genius, but, you know, Special Agent Duncan, he plans on going underground and kind of getting at him that way. And she's like, really? She's like, I got to call him, man. She's like, all right, good luck. He's like, all right, I'm about to go and interrogate. He's like, I'm not going to be easy on her. She's like, do what you got to do. So he goes in there, he looks at her, right? Next thing you know, he slaps Teresa, bam, right in the face. He's like, oh, you got some soft hands, you know, Agent Kyle. He's like, yeah, you know, I don't want to pretty up your face, you know, because, you know, that's all you got going for yourself, because it's definitely not your personality, you know. So tell me what I need to know, right? And they just looking at each other. She looks crazy, right? He's like, you're going to tell me what I need to know or else. And he just looking at her. They looking at each other. Your boy Cal looks over at the desk and he sees this letter opener, grabs the letter opener and says, you know, what can we do with this? And she's like, what you going to do with that? Right? And then he grabs her head. And I don't know what, Cal is turning into some real crazy dude. And the next thing you know, she's like, Cal. And then she screams, Cal. And all we see is Sheriff Conley's door. Crazy, right? So here we are. Obadiah's like standing there, and the highest is like, what did you do? Why did you do that to the birth mother? If you hurt the birth mother of the baby, what is wrong with you? He's like, I'm sorry. It just seems like she was just talking out of place. I was trying to get her to stop, you know, talking. He's like, what are you talking about, man? You know, like, well, you know, she seems like she's talking out of place or whatever the case is. He's like, look, man, she has my seed. She's talking through me. He's like, I can't see any other person talking for the Raku except for you. He's like, you know what? You better show her the same respect that you show me, Obadiah. That's right. Keep your hands off of Ruth, Obadiah. Are you crazy? You out of your mind, boy? Right? And she's like, I'm sorry. You know, I deserved it. You know, he's like, you know, I would die for you, highest. She's like, yeah, but understand, like, I put my seed in her, bro. My son is in her. She's speaking through the Raku, so show respect, right? So she's like, yeah, it was my fault. He's like, see, man, you bugging. He's like, I'm sorry, right? And turn around, she walks over to him and pow, punches him right in the face, which is only right. And the highest is like, ooh, yeah, she punches like a man, right? Yeah, he's like, yes, she does. It stings, but I like it. And he's like, what? You like it? He's like, whoa, easy, bro. Don't like it too much, man. You know, he's crazy, right? Yeah, I like it. I want more of it. She's like, look, you know, I was telling you that don't blame them, because really your sheep is going astray because you have gone astray. You've lost your connection to the Raku. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like you lost your connection. You know, it's cloudy up there, and you know, they're only following your lead because you lost your connection to the Raku. Obadiah's like, come on, man, you really believe in this crap, right? He's like, listen, take Ruth to the infirmary to get her help with her beautiful lips. You guys go back to the trailer and go pray. So she says, you know, no more torturing tonight. And everybody goes back to their trailer. Meanwhile, Obadiah takes Ruth to the infirmary and pushes her into the table. Elder Mother comes out and, what is going on here? He's like, you know, Ruth was just being stupid. And she's like, he hit me in the face with his strap. So he's looking like, and then he walks out looking like an idiot, right? Because, yeah, he's being a real a-hole right now. So he's looking like a dummy. And then he walks out. So look at her lip. It's all busted. How you going to bust up a beautiful face like that? So, you know, Elder Mother, she's like, let me put some alcohol on it, you know. Maybe you should, you know, take care of that lip and keep it shut because you're running your mouth, Root. Stop talking so much. She's like, really? It's like, well, you know, I'm happy because, you know, like, you know, you got us on a mission with the Raku, with the baby and everything like that, Root. You know, I'm so happy. She's like, really? You're really happy? She's looking at her like, seriously? She's like, of course me happy. You got me on the mission now. And she's like, okay, well, that means you need to stop whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to look up. You need to stop effing with me and just kill that noise. Just stop messing with me. Stop looking for stuff because it ain't going to happen. I'm going to take away your title. I'm going to strip you of everything. And you're going to be washing the washrooms, okay? You're going to be cleaning the washrooms before you know it, all right? So stay out of my way or I'm going to bust you up. That's pretty much what she says. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But Ruth is like, look, stop playing with me, all right? Stop looking for whatever you're looking for. And leave me the F alone. So Ruth walks out and you're like, why me, Raku? Why me? Then she walks out and she sees, you know, Andrew, River, and Joan and Zane. It's like, men, go away. I need to talk to these children. She waves off the soldiers, right? And they're like, Ruth, how did you do that? Oh, my God. And it's like, thank you so much. Like, yes, we want to thank you. You know, Joan is like, well, how did you do it? She's like, come on, Joan, you really think I'm going to tell you how I did what I did? You know, it's like, well, whatever you did, you saved our lives. River's like, yo, we owe you. And she's like, you better know that you owe me. You owe me a lot. Going forward, I think y'all need to just follow my plans without question, okay? Because I got a plan. It's like, okay, well, what's the plan? And River's like, nah, I want to get up out of here, get the money, getting it. And she's like, the money? You still after the money? And Jones is like, come on, like, tell us the plan. Ruth, like, what's going on? And she's just smiling and, you know, looking at him like Ruth has come up with the biggest finesse and she has made it happen. But, you know, Andrew's like, man, you did something crazy. And she's like, yeah, the Raku did it. And Andrew's just like, okay, well, maybe we need to go back to our trailers, right, Ruth? And just kind of like sleep on this and then we'll get back up in the morning. Because he's noticing that she's acting real weird, real strange. But remember, the guards are not too far away, so they can't really talk right there, right? So he's like, yeah, maybe you should go back to your trailer too. She's like, no, my place is with the highest. And then she's about to walk off and she turns around, family, with the evilest laugh. And she's like, like she's an evil villain or something like that. And your man, Andrew, is like, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. And they're like, yeah, it's going to happen. It's like, what's going to happen? Yeah, she going to do it tonight? Nah, she's not going to do it tonight. And Zane is clueless as to what they're talking about. But yeah, your man, Andrew, says to Zane, look, Zane, it's going down. All three of them know, except for Zane, that yes, Ruth is going to try to take out the highest and make them suffer as well. So now the highest is walking around in his trailer. He's frustrated as hell. Here comes Obadiah. And he's like, look, how many men? How many did we lose? He's like, I don't have a head count yet, but I'm about to route up some guys. We're going to get some, you know, get the dead bodies or whatever and go bury them. He's like, all right. He's like, name the names. And he named Peter. So he said that River took out Peter, right? And he took out some other men, right? So he's like, yeah, we lost so much. He's like, I lost my connection. He's like, man, that lady messing with your head. And here comes Ruth. Did I interrupt anything? No, you did not. No, you didn't. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming. And she's like, are you okay? He's like, no, I'm not okay. He's like, stop treating him like a baby. And Ruth is like, don't talk to him like that. Are you crazy? He needs comfort. He's like, you need to stand up and be a leader with strength and all of this and that. And she's like, look, man, right now he needs to be comforted. And I'm the only one that can comfort him in a way that you probably tried, but it didn't work. I know how to comfort the highest, right? And then the highest is like, Obadiah, leave. Because he knows what's going down. He knows how he wants to be comforted. So Obadiah walks out just like Daikon did, looking real jealous, looking real like she has authority over me, right? So she's like, look, I've lost my connection. I need to get back. And she's like, yeah, it's because of the deceitful snakes that are around you. There's a lot of people that's deceiving you. Your own men did this to you and all of this and that. He's like, what about the women? He's like, the women too. He's like, well, the women are following the men. And Ruth and the highest are going into this conversation about how men are the leaders and how women are just following what the men are doing. So if the men are being deceitful, the women are going to be just as deceitful, right? At first he was just like, yeah, well, really it's the women, but she convinces him no. So they get undressed. And she's about to comfort him in the way that only Ruth knows how to do. Ruth is about to do what she need to do and get it in with the lowest, right? Because he's at his lowest. She's trying to bring him to higher heights. So I think she brings out some ice. He's like, yes, I like that very much, right? And then all of a sudden, who do we see? Bam, surprise. The birth mother's like, you letting this girl fool you and twist your mind. He's like, no. And Ruth is like, no, you don't like this? He's like, yes. And then birth mother's just like, yeah, she's twisting your mind. He's like, no. And he's going back and forth. Yes, no. And she's like, your highest, are you okay? He's like, yeah, you going to let this girl twist your mind, man? You on the wrong track, right? So he's seeing birth mother. Next thing you know, she just, she's in the chair and she's talking to him like, yeah, man, you ain't the highest at all. You tripping out, man. This whore is going to mess you up. All right. You keep messing with her. She's messing with your head, just like Obadiah said, right? So again, the highest is going back and forth, confused, this, that, and the third. Next thing you know, she disappears, right? And he's like, you're all that I need, Ruth. You're all that I need. Meanwhile, outside, your boy Obadiah is listening to the door like he a little kid. Here comes Andrew walking up. And Andrew's on some politic, and he's like, Headmaster, I want to prove to you guys that, I'm worthy. This reminds me of seasons ago, same situation where Andrew wants to prove himself. They wanted him to prove. And here's Headmaster Obadiah like, well, I got a plan. He's like, yeah, I noticed that you were concerned about the highest. So, I want to be the one to help you do that. I want to prove myself to you. So he's like, look, I got a plan. Don't worry about it. You know what? I want you to rile up the guys. Get all the dead bodies, meet me at the training site. And if you do well, you may be my #1 soldier, Andrew. This is the same scenario we've seen seasons ago. But Andrew, once again, is on a mission to prove himself to Obadiah now, not just to Raku. And your man is still concerned about what's going on inside. Let that man get his booty. Right, so the guys come out. Andrew has the shovels. River comes out. He's like, come on, man, let's go. He's like, I'm not really enthused to go get some dead bodies or whatever. He's like, look, man, we need to get out of here. And Andrew's like, yo, we ain't going nowhere, man. You know what I mean? You tried this before. Look, man, you need to get your head in the game, man. If you try to get up out of here, they're going to try to take you out. We were this close to being unalive, and Ruth saved us. So take this shovel, go get the bodies, and get your head in the game, right? And River is very reluctant of all this. There goes Zane. She goes to see El Damadamava. And she's like, Zane, what you're doing here? She's like, I'm just checking on you, She's like, oh, Zane, you're the only one that care about me. She's like, no, that's not true, right? She's like, yes, it is. Nobody cares about me. She's like, let me ask you a question. She's like, well, Ruth did a miracle, right? She's like, yeah, right? But she was like, let me ask you a question. Do you think that me messed up the Kool-Aid, or was it a Raku miracle? And Zane is like, it was a Raku miracle. I knew it. I know I did the Kool-Aid right. Ruth, yeah, she did a miracle right. I know I did it right. I didn't do it wrong. She's like, okay. She's like, give me that. You're not even stirring it, right? So now we got Joan, and Joan is in the finance trailer, and she's looking up something, and she finds a flash drive. She goes on the computer, and it looks like she's transferring all the documents, all the information needed for these $1 million accounts onto a flash drive. So her plan is to still get the money. She puts the flash drive in her boot, and then she walks out the door. As she's walking out, there goes scumbag Manny. He's like, Joan, what are you doing here? Oh, I was just checking on the finance, and, it was a crazy, crazy day, right? And just making sure everything's secure, right? He's like, all right, yeah, get your ass back to the trailer. Then he sees River. He's like, River, there's 2 bodies next to the bus. He's like, okay. He's like, go get them. He's like, well, can I get some help? I'm kind of weak. He's like, man, just go get them, man. It's just crazy to see how River has fallen from grace, from being big old daikon ordering him around and now being ordered around. So now Ruth and the Lois are done. And it's like, that was nice. That was great. He's like, yeah, what's going on with the food, though? He got the munchies now. Well, I could check on Elder Mother. He's like, yeah, do that. Make sure that, go ahead, make that happen. So, they got busy. And he's like, yeah, you're all that I need, and blah, say blah. And, she's really securing her position with him. She's looking back like, yeah, I got your ass now. But here she walks out. Obadiah's sitting there. He's like, you finished whoring around with the highest? She's like, no. I was taking care of him and taking him to higher heights. Obadiah says, well, yeah, we went to higher heights when I put that bomb on, Ruby, and she blew up, right? Oh, man, you ain't supposed to say that. Turn around, your girl Ruth's on your boy Obadiah's boot. He's like, you just trash. He's like, well, there was a little bit of the highest on there. So if you want to lick that up, right? I'm like, Ruth, you going hard with this one. So he grabs her neck. He's like, you think you're safe right now, but you won't be safe long enough from my wrath. And boom, that's the end of the episode, family. That was episode 2 of season 6 of Ruthless, family. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think so far. And again, look out for the Ruthless Round Table as we go live and have our live discussion. Family, I'm looking forward to it. If you enjoyed this, absolutely hit that like button, hit that hype button. What will happen next? We shall see in the next episode of Tyler Perry's Ruthless.